Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have this 2020 Honda Ridgeline and we're going to do the side chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the side trim. It's just your regular chrome side panels, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we use the gloss black material in order to change the color scheme of the chrome, and it also gives it a more sportier look on the chrome panel. If you like the product, link for the product will be linked below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation for the side panel, we need to make sure we prep each section before doing the installation. So in order to remove any contaminants, all you need is water and baby shampoo mixed together inside a spray bottle. Once you have your solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel and just make sure to remove all the contaminants that the panel may have. And then once you're done removing the contaminants, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to each panel that you're going to be working on. Because if there's still any water residue left over and it touches the adhesive side of the film, it's not going to stick even if you apply heat. So make sure everything's completely clean and dry. Okay, so once you finish prepping each panel, now we can start with the installation. So we're going to start off by placing this one and aligning it right on the edge here, and then just working our way until we reach it here, and then tacking it down, applying heat, and then trimming off the excess material we don't need. So make sure you align it there. You give yourself a little bit of material to just cover the top section here. So apply it there. Just follow the design until you reach it there. You can have the door open just so you have more room to work with, and then just grab your squeegee, tack it down, secure it, remove any air bubbles, and then we'll apply heat to help it tack down to the panel, and then trim off excess material. Okay, so now we're moving on to the front piece of the door section. So just place the film there. That way you have both hands to work with, and aligning it to this section of the panel. So roughly around there. Once you align it, lift the film carefully and just use the lower section of the panel as the guide in order to align the film. So place it and follow the panel as you align it. Once you place the film, grab your squeegee, start tacking it down. Make sure to remove any air bubbles that are underneath the film and just help it secure. Once you finish securing it with your squeegee, we're going to apply heat just to help the film tack down more faster to the panel, and then wrap it on top as well to cover the chrome that's on the top layer of the panel. Okay, so now apply heat. So once you finish applying heat, look on the top section of the panel. Make sure all of the chrome is being covered. And now you would trim off the excess material that we don't need, or you could tuck it in underneath. It will be up to you, optional. But if you do want to trim the excess material, there is a small gap in between the panel and the rubber gasket here. That's where you will insert the blade and trim off the excess material carefully. So just like this. You trim it off carefully until you reach it to where you don't have any more excess material. So you just do the same for the rest of the panel. Also, don't forget about the edge here, trim it off. Okay, and once you finish trimming off the excess material, apply heat one more time just to help tack down the film, since we did pull it to remove the excess material. Help it tack back down, and then you're done, and you would move on to the next piece. Okay, so now we're moving on with this section. So just place the film on the panel, and you want to start by aligning the film to this section of the panel. Make sure you align it and you're covering the chrome. With this one, you could either align it on the bottom section or towards the top. It's completely up to you. Just make sure, let's say if you align it on the top, you have enough material to cover the top, and you use the top as the guide in order to align the rest of the film. So just place it and follow the guide. So just like that. This is the way if you installed it and followed the top section as the guide. Just make sure you place it down and then tack it down to squeegee everything else. Make sure to remove all of the air that's underneath the film. And with this one, you may have excess material. This excess material, you could trim it off underneath the panel. Since there is a small gap right here between the rubber gasket and the actual paint, that's where you would trim it off. But before trimming it off, apply heat just to help the film start molding to the panel. So grab your heat gun, apply heat all over the panel, and then once you're done, we will trim off the excess material. You grab your squeegee, just help it secure underneath one more last time before we trim off the excess material. So like I mentioned, there is a small gap right in between the paint and the gasket. That's where you insert your blade and trim off the excess material. Make sure that your blade is right inside the panel. That way you prevent from scratching the paint on the door. So just take your time as you go. You don't need to rush this. You can always reset and just continue on until you reach it to that end. And now apply heat one last time to seal the film, and then we'll move on to the next section. So when it comes to installing the rear door for the top section of the panel, it's the same steps as how we did it for the front. The only difference is with this one, the piece is smaller. There is a cutout right towards the end here, the chrome panel, from this top one to this side pillar here. The same steps is applied when you're installing this piece. The only difference is towards the end, once you finish tacking down everything, you would trim it off where the body line is located right here. So I'll show you guys how to trim off once we're done with the installation for this one. So once you finish installing everything, and this is the last section that you need to work on, this is where you will need to trim. If you notice, there's a cutout to separate these two sections. Make sure you tack it down first to make sure you don't accidentally cut too much. And all you need to do is grab your blade and right in the middle, slowly, carefully trim off the material. You don't need to put too much pressure. It's just enough to make a cutout, and you just trim it off. And then just apply heat one more time to help tack down the film, since we did trim it off and it lifted a little bit. So grab your heat gun, apply heat, make sure you secure the top and this whole section. And now you move on to the lower piece, which is the same steps as how we did it previously for the next one. And then once you're done, move on to the last piece. So once you finish installing all the pieces, the last one is this pillar. So with this one, align it where you left off. So place the film and align it right on the edge. Make sure you have coverage on the curve. Lift it carefully and just follow the design of the panel. Just like that, and everything else should just fall into place like that. Pretty easy. All you need to do now is make sure if there is any fingers, lift it carefully and just tack them back down. Make sure to remove any air bubbles that may be underneath the film. And now just help it tack down. On the curve area, apply heat and then work your way to the outer section. So apply heat, that way the film starts to tack down. You could use your finger to help it tack down on the curve and then work your way from one end to the other. forget about the bottom and on the sides here. And then just apply heat one last time to ensure that the film stays tacked down and doesn't lift, and then we'll trim off the excess material. And with this one, you could either wrap it around the panel here, trim off the excess material. It will be completely up to you. But if you want to trim it off, just make sure you create the outline of where that small gap is located. So it's right around here. Create the outline and then grab your blade and trim off that excess material carefully. As you can see, no chrome is showing, and you would just do it for the rest of the panel on top. And don't forget about this section here. So the last thing to do once you finish with the whole installation is to post heat the entire panel. So just grab your heat gun and start applying heat to each section of the panel. That way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and also if there's still any film still lifting, we help it tack back down. So make sure you go all over the film, and then once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the side chrome delete installation for the 2020 Honda Ridgeline. We hope that this video helped you guys out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.